Alright, so this is another video. It's for the differential on the 2004 Mercedes C230 w203 1.8 engine. I just want you to know, if you get the right bearings and you seat these races correctly, and you have them all the way down where you feel that you can hear that little noise like ting, you know, like that, like that, not like that. That's when you bang it down, but then you'll hear like that, you know, you'll hear a different sound, and that means you got them seated. All right, so that's good. That's one way of knowing that you got them seated, because if you don't have them seated, these bearings are going to be really tight. Now, in my last video, I said that because this shaft has a lip in it, a lip on it. It gets bigger, and then when the bearing goes on, it can't go anymore. So they do that on purpose. They make it like that because they don't want you to have to put shims in here. And that's a great idea. Plus this right here, this piece, the hub that goes down, that also regulates it so you can't over torque it. This at the beginning, when you try to turn this, it feels like, oh no, I made it too tight, right? But that's not what you have to do. You see, when you turn it, this turns easy. Not easy, it has force on it. I don't know how much, force it really has on it, but it feels right. It feels about just a few Newton meters more right now than it did before, probably because the bearings are good. But it was tight like this with the old bearings. I went like this and I couldn't move it, and then all of a sudden it moves. But this is definitely good. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, if you could spin it like this without pushing the whole thing to the side, like like this, then it's good. All right, and it's gonna have a little bit, like I said, a little bit of stick. You're gonna be like, oh, I made it too tight. But anyway, this transmission is probably easy to rebuild if you get the right thickness bearings and they all match up. You don't have to worry about shimming this. And when you paint the ring gear and you check to make sure that the wear mark is right in the middle, I pretty much guarantee that it will be. And that's because, like I said, there's no shims on here. A lot of these, a lot of cars and trucks and vans and whatever, you got to shim this part, the other side. You got to shim the pinion gear. I mean, it's a nightmare. A nightmare. If you ever get a car like this and you have that noise and you look it up and it has shims in it, you better hope that you get lucky, and when you put those shims back in there, that you don't have that noise still, because you got to take it down again and take out the pinion. It's a pain. Alright, so that's it. That's what I did. The last video I showed you, you use a bunch of these, right, without this part attached, and you get that bearing compressed onto the shaft by doing that and using the nut as much as you can. And then I put this on, and then what I did was, just so I didn't damage it, I took this bearing and I put it down there, because it fit in there perfect. You probably don't have to do it. This is hardened steel. This is soft steel. Just galvanized. So all I did was put this down in the middle and I tapped it. All right, I tapped it very easy. It went down very easy. It's not like it's really compressed in there or anything, but it is tight. And once I got that down enough, then I saw the threads, and then I put the nut on, and I used the impact gun on number one only, because I didn't know what would happen if I, you know, over torque this. Because if those bearings, like I said, if those bearings are too thin or too thick, it will affect this. It will affect the torque and everything. Now this is almost lined up where it was. It's just about maybe 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters off. It could be tightened a little more, but it really, on number one, I could hear it make that sound. It's like when you put the lugs on your car and you get to the end, you hear that different kind of sound. That's what it did. And then I went a little more even than that. So it could be that, these bearings are slightly thicker. I mean, it can't be too much thick because that's almost to where it was before. So when I kink this bolt so it doesn't come off, I'm going to use this side because they have another side here. So I'm going to take a punch and I'm going to punch that in just like they did to the other side. But I'm probably not going to do that now. And when I do rebuild the ring gear and I put it in, I put the paint on there. I'm not going to put, any seals on there, of course. I'm going to see if the marking is good because, I don't want to have to ruin the seal. This seal is $10. I have 2 of them, so I put it on already. Okay, so I put the seal on, then I put the seal on here, then I put this piece on, and there was a little thread sticking up. I used the impact gun on number one, and this pushed the bearing down, and the bearing automatically stopped, and you hear the sound change. So that's basically it. So I'm not gonna, kink that bolt right now in case there is a problem somewhere. So the next thing I will do is that. I'll see if I can show you how I got the bearings on it. I don't know how I'm going to get them on yet. I'll probably tap them on. So after that, I'll show you the paint and the markings, what I get, and if there's tightness. And I don't have one of those gauges to tell you, how much play this gear is supposed to have, when it's touching the pinion gear. I know it's supposed to move just a tiny bit, so I'll go by that. I basically know in my head that it would probably be about, like 6 to 12 thousandths of an inch. I don't know how that goes, but it's just supposed to have a little play. Of course, if it's tight and you shake this gear back and forth like this and it doesn't move and you don't hear that little ticking sound, of course it's going to be too tight. Something is wrong. I'll figure out what's wrong. Probably the bearing isn't compressed on all the way down, but I usually look at that anyway. So anyway, get back to you in the next video when I do that. And after I show you how I install the bearings, I'll stop the video. Next video will be the alignment. We'll paint this if I have the paint still, or I'll have to get it. We'll paint this and we'll see where the marks are, and we'll go from there. All right, see you later.